Guys, what's up? Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with some news and a few updates for Destiny 2 Season 11. So, over the past few days, the AFK farming has been pretty real as players find a new favourite way to level up, and Bungie are quite possibly about to put a stop to it, so we'll touch on that, as well as a new data mined exotic weapon which creates other weapons. And my friends, exotic relic weapons are about to be a thing, so we'll explain what that means in a moment, but we're also going to discuss the next exotic quest in the game, secret enemy locations, and a new Iron Banner quest, as well as some event content for the summer. And so guys, as always, I hope you enjoyed the video, but now let's get into it. You guys have probably noticed a massive number of players AFK farming the forges in the game, and we briefly mentioned that this was a thing on the weekend, but since then, it's pretty much become the favourite way to get up to the base power level cap for the season. And some players on Reddit reckon that up to 60% of all activity completions the other day were actually AFK forges, so it has also sparked a lot of conversation. And firstly, we should say that DMG commented, watching the conversation on power, leveling, and a few pesky bugs that trivialize them both. And he goes on to say the team is working to address the bugs, stay tuned for info, but also keep the feedback coming and direct the frustration toward Bungie as opposed to the community. And so a few things are being said here really. This week with a hotfix dropping, and with us past the weekend now, Bungie could well put a stop to AFK farming in the forges specifically, and of course DMG said stay tuned. So I would say if you want to take advantage of that, now is the time because Bungie will schedule that hotfix for some time during the week. Of course, the other side of the conversation is one of disagreement, and some folks think that it kind of sucks to gain power this way. They don't want to do it themselves, and they feel that the investment for power leveling in the game is actually devalued. Of course, at the same time, other folks are just like, hey, let's do this thing. And as always with exploits, we're going to see a lot of players use them. I can understand why some folks don't like it, because again, it devalues the investment economy if you don't appreciate those exploits. And there are instances where it can cause playlist disruption and stuff like that, because not all players are actually doing it below 750 power, right? However, it does spark a wider conversation about power, and a lot of folks would say that power leveling is kind of boring at this point, which mostly seems to be because the bar keeps moving, and so things do feel a little bit repetitive, and also the ways to earn power are repetitive in themselves, which is why some players can kind of get bored of it. And so it is a divisive issue, and it really depends how you play the game. And so let us know what you think down below. I would absolutely love to see things get mixed up a little bit in year 4, and I can appreciate that repetition with power at the moment myself. Power should always be an important thing, but maybe we need to engage with it in some different ways. So give us your thoughts in the comment section, but bear in mind the AFK Forge thing is reasonably likely to be fixed, stopped, or adjusted in some way relatively soon. Also for the hotfix that we're going to get this week though, which is 2.9.01, it doesn't have a specific time, but DMG and Cosmos said that changes to anti-air swords should be dropping with this update, and they've removed the bonus to super energy when you reflect in shots, as well as adding that 1.5 second of sprinting to be required before the exotic perk can actually trigger. But I will keep you posted on the timeline for that update. However, now, let's speak about one of the upcoming exotics for the season, and initially it comes with a thanks to Jinsa yet again, because we get details about the Ruinous Effigy exotic trace rifle, and it's safe to say this thing is going to be a bit of a monster, or at least will be pretty unique. So essentially it will allow us to create relics that players can pick up and use as weapons. But this time Jinsa posted a video explaining the data mine perks, which is really cool. And so if you do like this kind of content, definitely go give him a sub. I'll link the video down below. But critically, it gives us more info about the quest and some follow-up content for the season as well. It's now confirmed that the main bonus for the Ruinous Effigy will be transmutation, and final blows with the weapon will collapse victims into void transmutation spheres. And essentially that's the process that we can see with the graphics for the weapon right there in the trailer. And then a perk we spoke about the other day, Evolution, allows transmutation spheres that are created to be picked up and wielded as weapons by you or your allies. So we can see it has a listing for a light and heavy attack, as well as the ability to guard or drain nearby combatants. And so this is now the confirmed set of bonuses for Ruinous Effigy. And obviously the concept is pretty crazy because the weapon is going to create other temporary weapons of some sort. And when I spoke about the perk before, a lot of folks said, that sounds like a sword perk to me, which didn't initially sound right for a trace rifle. I guess we were both right in a way because the relics created by the thing look like they're going to behave in a very similar way to swords. And so there you go, the first exotic weapon that can create relic weapons of a different sort. And the exotic catalyst upgrade description confirms also that Ruinous Effigy will indeed destroy the Eyes of Savathun, and we know that there are 50 of those scattered around various locations. There'll also be a triumph this season to get all of them, so this will be the weapon that actually takes them out, and making kills with it, as well as the transmutation spheres or destroying eyes, will actually give catalyst progress. So what do you guys think about that? Personally, I I think it's pretty clear that at base the weapon is going to be a fairly standard fusion rifle. It doesn't have perks that give it a massive damage buff or anything like that, but of course it's 100% focused around the spheres. If those things are strong, then this could be a really powerful as well as a very fun weapon. And it's also nice to have collectibles and secret weapons that can destroy them for upgrades, because it at least kind of leans towards some of the content that makes bigger expansions memorable. And now we can get a pretty clear look at the quest as well. These quests in the database don't actually show the specific rewards, but there are 2 distinct exotic quests this season, so the quest starting with Missive is focused around Eris, the Savathun story, and links to Touch of Malice, which is one of the reasons that we can assume the Missive quest is the one which drops the Ruinous Effigy. It's supported by the fact that the other exotic quest is the Evacuation quest, and Zavala is the leader for that one, but he also has an exotic Traveler's Chosen in his inventory, and that's a reprise, so since we're going to be proving ourselves as such again, I think the results of the 2 quests are kinda clear. And so, if you want to prep for Ruinous Effigy, here we go. We initially get a quest pop up at the Prismatic Recaster on the tower, and the first objective of the quest is to complete the Interference mission, so that'll be pretty self-explanatory, but then there's the Pendulum quest step, where we need to defeat 15 of Savathun's marionettes, as well as collecting 25 calcified light. And we should point out that calcified light is different to the Eyes of Savathun, and the quest says that nav mode is going to help us, so they're either going to be kind of highlighted objectives somewhere, or drops that we can get from enemies and things like that. And then Savathun's marionettes are secretive enemies that show up on certain locations. And Awesome Saucy pointed out that currently they are spawning at random in the Rupture on Io near the entrance to the Pyramidion, and they are champion enemies that actually drop a chest when you take them out. And so that gives us an idea of where we can find them on Io, but I'm currently not sure where they're spawning on Titan. It's worth bearing in mind the Io location though, because with no roadmap for the quests this season, this one is going to pop up and going to happen at random. Once we have those done though, there'll be a step to get precision multi-kills, of which we'll need 25, but we'll also need 100 void kills, and 18 points scored in Gambit and Reckoning. And so chaining precision multi-kills, getting void kills, and then scoring points in those modes is stuff that we can all do at the same time. Higher tiers of Reckoning will grant the most progress, but Invader kills or defeats in Gambit will also grant more progress. And so we won't really know which one is faster until it drops, although Gambit Prime is probably going to be the quicker way to get the Gambit stuff done if that's what you choose to do. But pick your poison, and then of course the kills will be pretty easy. With a few runs of Reckoning or Prime, just stack up your Void weapons and subclasses, Nezarec Sins, and so on, and this will be done relatively quickly. Then once we have the kills made, we'll get an engram to decrypt at the Umbral Decoder, and as far as we know, this is when the weapon will actually drop. So that is basically everything we know about that particular quest, but also Ruinous Effigy. And once those things are done, we'll have the ability to upgrade the Catalyst, but of course, there are the Eyes of Savathun that need to be destroyed, and this is the weapon to do it. And then later on in the season is when we can expect the Evacuation quest to take place, so if Traveler's Chosen is going to drop all the way at the end of that quest, it's something we're going to be waiting a little while before we actually get. Now though, to move on to some other topics, players asked about destination exotic quest items being moved to different locations in the future. A lot of questions about cosmetic items, quest drops, and things like that, but Cosmos said we are going to be answering a lot more detailed questions over the course of the summer. And of course there are a lot of system changes for Bungie to round up and explain, but we also shouldn't forget that Bungie are going to be streaming on Summer Game Fest, probably with more reveals for September's content, and it's possible that those conversations aren't too far away, so outside of this content drop right here, and the summer events and things we'll get in the game, there is going to be a lot more conversation, so stay tuned for that. But outside of the exotic quests this season, we are going to get other stuff like the Iron Banner, and from the database, it seems like the quest for Iron Banner this season will be a little less grindy than what we've seen in the past, although it will be for 2 reprise weapons, but Old Reliables right here is the quest step, but it simply requires sidearm and auto rifle kills with a point system, and precision kills will be granting the most progress. And presumably that isn't something that Bungie would put with a requirement for like 5,000 kills or something like that, so we'll see how it pans out, but it probably won't be too bad. And then the forward path is the reprised auto rifle with a 600 round per minute adaptive frame. And interestingly, it can get a new perk called Iron Grip, and this massively improves weapon stability at the cost of reload speed, so you get plus 20 stability and minus 40 reload speed. But you can also get Iron Gaze, and this improves target acquisition at the cost of weapon range, so you get minus 40 range with plus 20 aim assist, and that is a massive aim assist bump, but of course it's a pretty massive drop on range as well. However, it could be possible to offset some of those stat changes with particular bonuses, of course. And we can see we have traits like Swashbuckler, Multi-Kill Clip, Feeding Frenzy, and more for the forward path. And then both of those new bonuses are included on the Fool's Remedy, that's the Soros Rapid Fire sidearm. and that can get moving target, subsistence, feeding frenzy, kill clip, rangefinder, and a few other decent potential roles. For Solstice of Heroes this year, folks are discussing the possible return of the European aerial zone, and some quests for the event have been updated, with their icons kind of classified. And they do have mention of the European Dead Zone, but they're updated from the previous event, so it's possible that it could come back, but we're going to get a new title as part of the summer events, and possibly that'll be a 2020 title in Roman numerals like we had last year. And there are some specific drops as well that we can't see the exact source for, but will be earned through gameplay of some sort, so Resurrecting Flight is a pretty curious looking new sparrow, and then we've got the Awakened Shell as well, which is the kind of traveller looking ghost shell. So aside from the seasonal drops specifically associated with arrivals, there will at least be a few other bits of content throughout the summer. Moving away from the quest right there, the other day we did speak about new info regarding RELICS, now strongly believed to be on Europa, and this was in lore found via the Beyond Light ghost shell. And it's possible he's involved with a group of Fallen on the Icy Moon, but separately spoilers have continued with the launch of the season, and leaked voice lines have been kind of a focus of the past couple of seasons, so this season Skuldor has a video of loads of the dialogue. We're not going to run any of it right here, but there is stuff about the arrival of the darkness, lots of dialogue between Eris and the Drifter, and some cool content associated with the Nine and Orin. So some new bits of story potentially leading off from what we had in Season of the Drifter. So I'm going to link that video down below if it's stuff that you do like to check out, but of course, spoiler alerts are absolutely necessary throughout. For today though guys, that is what we have to speak about in the video. I'll be keeping you posted this week as we roll over the reset, any new content, quests, secrets, or things that pop up, so stay tuned here on the channel, be sure to get subscribed, and turn on notifications if you want to be kept up to date with everything related to the game. Otherwise though, for now, I appreciate you tuning in, and whatever you get up to, I hope you have an awesome day.